You're welcome back. This is Newsfile. It's your most authoritative news analysis platform. And as you know, Ghana football is getting quite interesting. And people are suggesting that the president's involvement in counseling Asamoah Gyan to cancel his, retirement from the Blackstars was wrong, and that it will affect the coach's ability to take control of the team. Well, he's been named in the squad, and he is the general captain. Dede Ayew is the captain. He is the general captain. So what exactly is the problem here? Randy?
Well, it's a really unfortunate situation, very unnecessary controversy, avoidable, most regrettable. But you see, let me first of all deal with this issue of presidential intervention. It is not new. And, for people who do not even know, even the great CK Jemfi retired once, and he had to be spoken to come in. And for people who look at other jurisdictions and all that, they get sometimes shocked about some of the things that our heads of state get involved in. But we also live in a part of the world where politicians like to score points and take credit for everything. Because I'm sure that when the coach of England decided that he wasn't going to make Henderson his captain and that he was going to choose Harry Kane, it was not a matter of concern for Theresa May or Queen Elizabeth. you understand what I'm saying? Yes. But in this country, because of how, the political class, get involved, the success, and they make it look very personal. It is for them and all that. So that's what we have. So you've had many, if not most, heads of state getting involved in some of these things. So what President Akufo-Addo has done is not new. And I don't know when it will stop, But see, the decision of who captains a team is that of the coach in consultation with the managers of the game. I mean, it will be a recommendation of the coach. This is this decision. But it's obviously something that he will discuss with the management, And in a situation where he also wants to take a decision against a long-serving captain, somebody who's captained the team for 7 years, and we're just about going to a tournament, that is a very, very serious one. It has implications, And, we've pretended that there are no issues between the captain and his deputy. Both of them themselves. And, both of them were also invited by the president.
Okay.
And the president wanted to know what it would take to win the tournament. I'm sure some people went to whisper to the president that, look, all is not well between the captain and his deputy, so call them and speak with them and let them iron out differences and all that. I'm told that when they met the president, none of them indicated to the president that they had any differences. But so they went speaking about other things that they thought should be done. So at the end of the day, they left the place without the germane issue being dealt with. So to the extent that a decision is taken against Asamoah Gyan and the beneficiary of the decision is Dede Ayew, that escalates the issue. It's like, oh, you're helping my rival or my opponent to defeat me. I say that I've lost to my rival. Because look, I will make a certain disclosure today. I love to keep the football things, Yes, I love to keep them somewhere. Maybe one day I'll put them in a book. But look, it got to a point where some people in Asamoah Gyan camp, when President John Mahama was in office, approached me and said that, look, they had credible information that it was the wish of President Mahama to take the captaincy from Asamoah Gyan and give it to Dede. I'm telling you. So that's how deep-seated and deep-rooted the issues were. I mean, publicly, people wouldn't accept. You know, so he sees, and on the field, you won't see it. I mean, they speak, in camp, they'll do their jama together and everything. But those things were there. You know, so to the extent that I'm going to suffer for this, and Asamoah believes that this is his last tournament. So he would prefer that he goes, gives it his best and last shot, hoping that he can break the jinx and then retire on that. And then the news is that you will go to the tournament, but you will not be my captain. As for the general captaincy issue and people describing it as an elevation, they should stop that. Both the coach, the GFE, and everybody should not insult the intelligence of anybody. This is not a story that they can even tell kindergarten kids. Let's stop it. It is not an elevation. Nobody should come and say that. Global football, when they bring the team sheets at the Nations Cup, there will be only one C, captain. There's no GC anywhere. And it is that captain who is recognized, is that person. I heard about general captain when I was a kid and the local football teams. When there is a long-serving captain in his days of old, when it's about retiring and stuff, then it's like council of state. You go there and give us counsel, advisory and sort of thing. So it is not an elevation. People should stop. They should stop doing that. And maybe it is even when you patronize the player like that, that will even upset him the more. Every team has one captain, and that's it.
Did you read his statements that he issued after he was being, as it were, we are informed, he was being persuaded to come out himself and announce that he was going to step down for the day to take that role? Did you read the statement?
I did.
Okay. So that tells you that there are cracks.
But that's exactly the point I have been making all this while. That look, everybody is pretended that, oh, there is no issue. But if you read his innuendos, full of innuendos, you know, and it also demonstrated that he issued a statement. It was an emotive statement.
Yes.
He issued the statement out of emotions. Maybe if he had waited a few hours or a day more, he would have either not issued a statement at all or would have issued a different statement.
Is it good that he's back?
You know, Asamoah Gyan in any team, any day, is a good asset.
He's done 16 years in the team, right?
Yeah, from 2003. So that would be, 16 years. Right. 16 years. And he's been captain for 7 years. In this modern era, I don't know anybody who's captained the Black Stars for 7 years in this modern era. You know? So his presence.
What's been the standard period?
I'd have to check.
4 years?
I'd have to check. I'd have to check.
All right.
You know? But Asamoah Gyan in any team, any day, once he's fit, as something else. He brings a lot of quality and all that. But you see, what is happening is going beyond the technical or tactical capability of Asamoah Gyan and Dede Ayew. It's about a certain poisoned atmosphere. You understand me? So the decision of the coach, the reaction of Asamoah Gyan, the decision to appoint Dede as the captain, now creates a managerial nightmare for both Kwesi Appiah and the managers of the Black Stars.
How?
Look, Asamoah Gyan cannot look President Akufo-Addo in the face and say that I won't return to the team. He can't. Don't forget they have a relationship too. The president himself went all the way to the opening of the Basilica when Asamoah Gyan was opening his private residence. So they have that relationship. And once I was told the president had intervened, I knew there was no way Asamoah Gyan would say that he would not respect the request of the president.
He has actually said so when he issued a statement.
But it doesn't mean that he still doesn't feel hard done by. It still doesn't take away all those cracks which he exhibited or he actually gave credence to per the innuendos in his statements.
Right.
Do you get the point I'm making? It also doesn't take away the fact that in also dealing with the issue, he made some disclosures, which you could also describe as immature, in terms of there were disclosures that were made about his discussions with the captain, the coach, and he having recordings and all that. I mean, that deepens the rift, that creates terrible blood. You understand what I'm saying? So yes, I can look in the face of the president and say that you've spoken to me, but I still stick to my... But the underlying things, the undercurrents, the issues, the cracks that are there, that decision does not take them away. And that's why I say that in view of all the things that have happened, what Kwesi Appiah, the team itself and the managers of the team will have to contend with, sadly, will not be technical and tactical issues.
Is there any professional justification for Kwesi Appiah's decision to let Asamoah Gyan sit back?
The decision of who captains a team is that of the coach. But how that decision is taken, how it is communicated, and especially if you want to contextualize it, you know, in the context of a captain and his deputy, one believing that he's being undermined, one thinking that, look, maybe he has better qualities or can do the job better and all that. Within that context, if you have to take such a decision, it is not a decision that is taken lightly. It's not a decision that is taken lightly. Okay. So it is a call for you to make. But how you make the call, when you make the call, is extremely important.
Okay. Me?
Yes.
The last question I put to him.
Yes.
Is there any professional justification for, or technical justification for wanting Asamoah Gyan to take a bit of a step back and have the day as a captain?
That question is a very legitimate question, and it must be answered by the coach only. Truth.
No, you are not just a watcher of the game.
No, I'm not.
You
I'm
are
not.
deep in.
I'm not.
Yes.
I'm not.
So what will be the basis for wanting Asamoah Gyan to take a bit of a back?
that manner of response. I'll explain it. Look, this captaincy thing, maybe Uncle Kweku will take us to the 60s, but I can't take you that far. But this captaincy issue, Ghana, has a certain history of bad blood. And I'll take us back a bit. Kwesi Appiah, the current coach, was the captain of the Black Stars in the 1990s, early 1990s. All right? The captaincy was taken away from him, the current coach, and given to his playing colleague, Abedi Pele. It became a big issue in Ghana. And at the end of the day, since Ghanaians will always ask for the why, we were told that it was because Abedi Pele spoke French. Abedi Pele spoke French. And Kwesi Appiah could not. And so on international assignments, that Abedi could communicate the position of the team better. Or maybe communicate with referees and things like that. People did not buy the argument because the officials are choosing for matches when they are bilingual, trilingual, or whatever, and can do it. But that's the reason we were given. So right from the get-go, as far as this dispensation in the 90s is concerned, this happened to the current coach.
Yeah. His playing mate then, Ama Senegal,
yes,
tells us that the announcement was made to them after they had gone for a training and they were sitting there, and it was surprising.
Absolutely.
Why couldn't Kwesi Appiah do it the same way?
So my point is that Kwesi Appiah has a practical feel of this. And that is where I can understand Asamoah Gyan's emotional outbursts. He's human. Because you are captain and you are a grand captain. Don't take anything away from me. Asamoah Gyan broke our hearts by missing a penalty on which I was on the panel live. And I couldn't speak after that against Uruguay. He broke our hearts, but he has given us a lot as a nation. He's this country's top scorer of all time. List the players we have had in this world. Ghana, list them. From who? From Mohamed Polo to George Alassane to name them superstars, Abedi Pele, whatever. Asamoah Gyan has outscored these people, not by a little, but by far. On the world stage.
51 goals in 106 games.
51 goals, and he's crossed the century. In football, we call it the century if you play 100 games or more. He, again, has outscored Roger Milla, of all players. at the World Cup for the highest scoring African player, etc. And there are many accolades we can bring. I mean, like, it was a friendly, yes, against England, out of nothing, a solo goal. Too many things. Too many things.
Look, I'm looking at something here. Joy Sports have done the statistics.
Massive.
And I'm looking at all of that, but I'm asking the question.
Yes.
There's a suggestion that currently
yes.
he may be in better form than Dede Ayew. So I'm asking, what's the technical sense in what is being suggested to be done?
I'll answer that question.
Or what has been done.
Because already. I wanted to lay a certain foundation, you know, for what we are doing. So yes, maybe let's be quick about it. What happened in Senegal 92 tournament? We went to the final. Abedi Pele was suspended. He had become captain because he had a second yellow card against La Côte d'Ivoire. We were all watching TV. Out comes the Black Stars. The captain is who? Who was the deputy captain to Abedi Pele? Tony Yeboah. Everybody know it. Immediately the Black Stars stepped out on TV. Live from Ziguinchor, Eddie Fachi, wherever he is. Tony Bafo was captain. It brought arguments to Ghana all of a sudden. That was happening. And people even complained that Tony didn't give off his best. He hits the bar in the 90th minute in a lazy way. And that would have taken all manner of things. But those are the politics of the game. I've had the opportunity of speaking to some of the ex-players. I mean, if you put your mind to it, you can know. Some of them I serve as counsel to and all of that. And they've told me some of the things that happened because of those decisions to make Tony, who was, Bafo, considered a newcomer. He just joined for the qualification series, 91, played that game, he scored, I think, against Togo, took the Ghana flag around the Kumasi Stadium. Yeah. He was new, Benny. He was completely new. Tony had been there from the 80s, all right? And he was actually the substantive deputy captain. Ghana took the captaincy back in the final of the African Nations Cup of all matches, away from Tony Yeboah's rightful place, and gave it to Tony Bafo. So we've been dealing with the captaincy this way. Bochum disaster, 6-1 to Germany. It was reported that Abedi, some way, somehow, was not going to feature for one reason or that could not make it. But he came by private jet. Yes. Apparently, Tony had done the press conference. He had been the Ghana captain. He was playing in Germany at that time. So he spoke the German directly and everything. And then, of course, the captain arrived. I'm told that they did not manage the thing well because that announcement already been made and everything. Sort of, oh, you know, he's here kind of. But there was some have come as of right kind of thing given in a manner that was acrimonious. And again, some believe that was the reason for the 6-1. Some even say that solid defender who said halftime that he couldn't continue the game, for which reason there was free movement for Effenberg and Co. was doing that out of protest of that decision.
I think Pele was with 18 system on the end also.
Yeah, yes, because of all that. It was a problem. Then Abedi Pele, after he left, Siki Akuno. I was then a young media boy presenter. Some of the sports things that were happening at that time was that even Abedi, having exited, sort of disapproved of Akuno's choice as captain after him for A or B reasons because he had been there with him. I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm talking from some of the reports that we put on him. Those days I used to be a sports presenter, as a matter of fact. So these were some of the things that we used to deal with. How did Asamoah Gyan himself then become captain? Through John Mensah, who was captain, also being made the general captain, and then he became the captain. So that general captain precedent was set at that time, Randy. Right?
The only difference is that we were not, it wasn't as if we were going to a
No,
tournament.
we weren't. But I'm saying that is where the
Kwesi Appiah
brought it. The same Kwesi Appiah. And that is where the lexicon got its invitation of general captainship into Ghanaian play. And so that's it. We were not going for a tournament, true, but that is what was done. And that's how come Asamoah Gyan became a captain and became a captain
and that other players.
Yes.
Asian
was
then deputy
to John Mensah.
And Sule Muntari was like the third in command. But
So
they were overstepped, which is also normal in global football.
It happens.
Like the choice of Hurricane as England.
Are you providing a justification for this decision?
I'm providing a situation to say that we have approached this captaincy issue in a certain way that makes it a bit unpredictable at times. We are not sure what next move is being done. And then there's always a situation where some people feel that hard done by, etc. Come on, Paul Pogba, but that's club level. Was made captain by Jose Mourinho. Over and above people he came to meet and people were senior to him and all of that. But there wasn't any crying per se. There was no conduct sort of that got it to be taken away from him. There's always some sort of a cultural context. That's what I'm saying. That we must look at. And that is Randy's point about the president's intervention. That you don't expect Theresa May to have gotten into such a thing. And so people are saying, how does President Akufo-Addo wade into this? I can understand. I had that initial feeling as well. But to tell you the truth, upon second thought, I'm looking at the Ghanaian situation, where a politician and a president, for that matter, sees it as a major stamp of approval for him to show that I produce a boxing world champion, that I produce African Nations Cup. It's a major concern. It may not be a major concern to what do you call it? President Trump. You see, so in that scenario, I will hesitate to criticize the president, and I will say so actually by looking at the second feature. There were two issues. One was his retirement, Asamoah's retirement, and the second was the captaincy. If the president had gone as far as suggesting to the coach that I think he should stay and that you should make him captain, I would have been very discontent with the president. But where a president of the view that this is your sharp guy, he's a major player, fit or not, and in football sometimes the presence of a player in itself can distort the defensive strategy of your opponent. They will give him some attention. It may free some people up, etc. That's for technical reasons. But if the president says he wants to win the cup, I'm sure President Akufo-Addo wants to say 37 years of drought. I appeared as president and then I restored the lost glory, sort of. And he thinks that Gyan is somebody that he needs. And he has a relationship with him as Randy has established. On that score, I'm saying that I'm ready to depart from my initial reaction to say, why is the president waiting him? Once I realized he didn't talk about the cause. He says, you are a Ghanaian. We need you. You have some talent. Okay. Change your mind and come and do it. Right. So for that reason, truth be told, I'm not going to really criticize the president for that. I think that what he did is in his rights. Okay. Okay.
In just 1 minute, without Asamoah Gyan, if he had kept to his word, did we have a bad team with him? Do we have a bad team going to the AFCON?
Truth is that, like you say, for 37 years we've presented great teams. And so winning this AFCON itself is something else. Look, Ghana has not won the African Nations Cup since more than 8 teams started playing it. Think about it. In 1982, there were only 8 teams. 8. You get there are 2 groups, A and B. You get if we're in the same group with Libya, who we went into the finals with. We drew with them, blah, 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 opening 89 minutes, etc. It became 16 in 96. We took Tony Yeboah, Abedi Pele, Malam Yaya, name it. Semi-final. South Africa gave us 3. We came home quietly. All the way, we've done some 2 finals with this young generation, but they haven't won it. All I'm saying is that I'm happy as someone is there, except if his state, his frame of mind is not correct, which I cannot assess from far away, then he may have an impact on the team. But if he can lift himself out of the disappointment he feels, and let's face it, he's a human being, it will be hard for you to have captained the team of players like this and have the band taken away and give it to somebody else. But I think it's done. Okay. He needs to rise above that disappointment. Okay. And my answer to you is that it's the same. I wish we win, but I don't know if we will.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Players,
okay.
None of these players was born the last time we won, including Asamoah Gyan. None of them was interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. That is very interesting.
Interesting, really. Now, Eddie, look at it this way. And once again, the Joy Sports put this very nice together. They talk about players who retired and came back. They refer to here in Ghana. They are talking about Prince Boateng 2011, November. He retired, citing physical demands of playing for both club and country at high levels. He rescinded his decision before the World Cup 2014, and I suspect we enjoyed him. Then Gyan, February 2012, he retired after criticism following penalty miss in the Blackstars 0-1 Zambia defeat at AFCON 2012 semis. September, he returns after President Mahama intervenes. I'm sure we have enjoyed him. Then the Ayus, 2013, February, Jordan, after he's dropped from AFCON 2013 team, and Andre, after disagreements with Kwesi Appiah, asked to be excluded from future selection. June, President Mahama intervenes. They return, both. Then, 20th May, Asamoah Gyan decides to retire again due to captaincy disagreement with Kwesi Appiah. And then 22nd May, President Akufo-Addo intervenes and he rescinds his decision.
I know why
how do you see the future going forward as far as unity in the team is concerned? That's a major concern for many.
Well, it does appear that for me, my greater expectation is that for all the years that I've lived on earth, I've not seen the Blaster take the cup. And so I have a great expectation that we should have a Blaster that will be fit and informed to win us this cup. I mean, with this political tension and what have you, football comes to quiet the storm largely for us. Because when it comes to Blaster, there's nothing like NPP, NDC, CPP. We all try to rally around the Blaster to ensure that at least there's some excitement. And that is why, like my senior pointed out, when Asamoah Gyan lost that penalty or missed it, the whole country, that night, I mean, it was like something else had happened in this morning. You know, so our history really with the man called Asamoah Gyan is one of misfeeling. At one point, I remember his classic goal against the US of A.
Right.
I mean, you look at that goal, for all intent and purpose, solid goal, and the whole country was in jubilation. Then the next time, he put us all to sleep. All beer bars and what have you, close very early. So that's the kind of person. And look, the man Asamoah Gyan, whether you like it or not, he's a young man that we need to celebrate. He has his own personal failings, just like any one of us. But in terms of his contribution to the development of football in this country, his philanthropic work and all of those things, great guy for all intent and purpose. But I have a difficulty now because of, you know, the intervention from the president and what has come out of it. Now you make Asamoah Gyan the general captain, the captain, Kwadwo Asamoah the deputy. Now in terms of command and control on the field, if you have Asamoah Gyan and the playing on that same day, within that time, and there's a decision to be taken on the field, whose decision must be obeyed?
There's only one captain.
Absolutely, I agree. There's only one captain. But you see, if you look at the Blaster now, there are persons within the team, as put forward by Coach Kwesi Appiah, who have they are more or less under the direct control of Asamoah Gyan. There are players in the team now. So it creates a certain leadership, a position where, if you are not careful, the day's leadership of the team will be undermined. Because I always tell people, the question of leadership is the ability of your followers, first of all, to even say you are in fact our leader. So where you have a situation where there are persons within the team who even feel that for whatever it is, they are even older than you, they have been playing the Blaster, today you are a captain, we believe that we are more loyal to Asamoah Gyan for personal help that he has given to us in the past. And now you are coming in as the captain. It creates a certain problem on the field. At this point, we can at best only speculate in terms of the structure that we have now, where you have the general captain, you have the captain, and the deputy captain. Obviously, deputy, unless the day is not in, that will be thinking about the deputy. But where you have the general captain and the captain at the same time in a major tournament of this nature, it becomes a problem. Look, Asamoah Gyan's response, his first letter that came out. We have seen politicians in this country, they'll give letter, I've resigned. Later people go behind, they talk to them, look at your political future and others, and those decisions are respectfully rescinded. So that possibility exists. But I think the quality of information that he put in that letter was completely needless. Whatever help, whatever relationship that exists between you and Coach Kwesi Appiah. Honestly, when Coach Kwesi Appiah announced the day as the captain, I thought it was a very bold decision. Because, you see, initially I was thinking, with the history that Coach Kwesi Appiah, he himself had with the day's father, in this same awkward manner, it was in any way going to have a certain effect on his judgment. But relative to all those matters, he still went for the day with the belief that, look, this is a young man. In Egypt, he helped us. He captained the team. He brought the cup to this country. He had composed himself in a greater respect. And so, therefore, he had put himself in a position where he can lead. So, regardless
he
of
captained you under what level and brought the cup under what level? It's not the same, is it?
No, I'm just saying that at least he had demonstrated leadership that had produced results.
Under 20, right?
Under 20. And so there is a natural progression where today he's within the Blackstars region. And he had played well for this country in major tournaments, World Cup, African Cup of
There are
Nations.
comments that are coming in, including from guys in the UK, and they're saying that Asamoah Gyan is a legend. He is your biggest, if you like, football exports.
Absolutely.
And that he should be treated as such, as far as the captaincy is concerned.
I would have expected.
You see,
I would have expected that we still keep him as the captain once he demonstrated that he wanted to go to the World Cup.
Is it possible to keep him as a captain?
The African Cup.
When,
the African Cup.
For the Africa Cup, when it was possible that he was not going to be starting.
No, but you see,
because of the injuries he has suffered.
No, that's
lately.
exactly. You see,
let me just
quickly
give you an example. Look,
It happens all the time.
in 2010, when we were going for the World Cup, Stephen Appiah wasn't in good form. He was having problems even getting a club because he was struggling with the injuries.
Knee and so.
But the coach named him in the squad. He wasn't dropped as a captain. He went there. Once you are not in the first 11, somebody else captains.
Yeah.
So in 2010, the coach did not change the captain of the team. Stephen Appiah was still the captain. We went to the World Cup. He was not a starting 11 player. So John Mensah started all our games as the captain.
Right.
In fact, on some occasions, when Stephen came on the field, he didn't even take the band.
Yeah. He came in late.
There were times that he took, there were times that he asked John to still keep it on. But we didn't change captains.
Okay.
But he wasn't in the first 11. So although he was the captain of the, you have the captain of the team and captain of the day.
So something.
Okay.
If you look at the current arrangements in terms of command and control, I may have a slight problem with it. If at the end of the day, you not have a situation where the senior players would in any way undermine the authority of the DIU, then we can't have a team that is well composed. In terms of,
but that's the concern of Dr. Nyahota Maklo.
Yes, exactly.
Who has been the GFA president
but
before.
There is now a
he
senior
says,
player.
He says the intervention of the president and that Coach Appiah also ought to have, as it were, stood his ground.
No, stood his ground relative to what? It's about the captainship. The question about retirement was a personal one for, what shall I say, Asamoah Gyan. So once he takes a decision to come back, he's not coming back as captain. Okay. That was the decision taken by the coach. If there was a possibility that he's coming back as a captain, then you could have said that the president, by his action, has undermined the authority of Kwesi Appiah. But you see, there's even more.
Should he have been telling him that going into this game, he will not be the captain, or asking him to make a public announcement?
No, I think that the two gentlemen, Kwesi Appiah and Asamoah Gyan, I think there are ego issues here as well. You cannot discount that. And that is why Asamoah Gyan decided not to even manage that thing as a decision coming from a senior brother to him, but to go to town.
But you think that was in his interest to make him look good?
And he himself by reason of this going to town, he'd gotten a presidential intervention. Where now he come back to the team as though, yes, this guy is quote unquote indispensable.
I ask because there are those who say Kwesi Appiah didn't, act with, sufficient skill or wisdom.
I disagree.
Or wisdom. But there are those who feel that he rather was seeking to help Asamoah Gyan to have a good image by being the one to come forward to say.
Is it also the case that, we know today the Asamoah Gyan of Asamoah Gyan is not the Asamoah Gyan that we have.
You can say the same for all of them.
Oh, very well.
Say that again.
You can say the same for all the top names.
But is it true that Asamoah Gyan is informed in comparison with the DIU today?
Well, those comparisons are always hard to make, especially when the people are featuring in different leagues.
My brother has just predicted that we are not coming home with the car.
Sorry, let's
just 1 minute so that you. So I think that overall, what we should all ensure is that we'll have a team that will be well composed because we need that. Right. It's part of the integrity of the team. Remember Brazil. All the problem we had in Brazil had to, come back to leadership and control. One person, Sule, is saying this. Kevin Prince, everybody. So there was no real control in the team. All right. If you undermine it, we are doomed.
Okay, Kuku, let me see if you have been following the Black Stars as much as you follow your cherished
prophet.
Your cherished foreign team. Yes.
I just told us we are not coming home with a car.
No, that.
Anything is possible, you know.
It's fake prophet.
Okay, right.
Direction.
Look, honestly, it's a mess. This thing is a mess.
Who's creation?
I'll come there. It's a mess. Look, Asamoah is somebody I admire, I like a lot. Indeed, I saw him out one time. I was with my kids and wife, and I actually solicited yes, a photo opportunity. Yes, he's done so much for Ghana. So I just was happy to have seen him and made sure that we took pictures, for my album. Kwesi Appiah is a fine gentleman, which I've interacted too with. But I tell you, avoidable dramatization of this thing. First, Asamoah public disclosure, the way he went about it, sowed the seeds for the mess. I'm telling you, complete mess. It was avoidable. Why dramatize this whole thing the way it was dramatized and put out in the public space? Then comes the presidential intervention, no political interference, based on even what Randy has told us. And the very interesting extension Rob drew about the captaincy and the retirement thing. Very, very interesting extension. I hadn't really addressed my mind to that. So that it then shows that the presidential intervention was actually not political interference. It had a purpose. But I wish that hadn't happened. So put all together, you see, why the presidential intervention appears to have been tailored to resolve the issue of retirement. Go back, play for your nation. So there's a certain element of patriotism, nationalism in there. It is also potentially problematic when it comes to management of the human element in the team. I'm wondering, look, well, I pray for the best, but I'm wondering if it is manageable. Seriously, whether the coach can. I'm not prepared to question the coach's decision because that's his right. It's within his remit. So I'm unable to question it. But the subsequent things has created a real problem for management of the human element when this boy is going to come and go onto the field to be playing. It's a real problem. And that's why I'm beginning to go along my, of course he didn't predict, I'm being mischievous, but the truth is that I'm not seeing too much prospect.
They are listening to you and they would like to hear a word from you. What do you have to tell them?
As a nationalist, as a patriot, as a Ghanaian citizen, I would love that they go out there, ignore all these things, play out their hearts and minds for this great country. I wish to. Ghana first, thank you. But it's easier said than done. The human element, it's not easy to manage that process.
Okay, and that's the most difficult.
Thank you.
I have been there for years. The kinds of things we managed, if Ghanaians were to know even 5% of that, I mean, it would be explosive. I'm telling you.
See,
it is a management of egos, of personalities.
Yes.
I'm telling you, of personal interests.
See, and the last point I want to make, even though it's of no substance.
No, but you see, he referred to Appiah, Eduji was referred to Appiah, and you two, how some came in and they wouldn't even be bothered that they are not wearing the band and all.
No, but
I mean, that shows discipline and humility. Right. Can these guys also learn to behave like those?
Well, I hope they do. I wish they do. I pray they do.
Which is the other thing you were going to?
This whole animal called General Captain. Someone should have declined it.
Yeah.
It's of no value. So he's accepted it.
Well, he's not, all he has announced is that based on the president's intervention, he's made
back.
himself available for selection.
And
But
Akufo-Addo
he has publicly not declined
No.
the offer of general captain.
Right.
It's an animal of no
that
value.
announcement came yesterday.
It's, okay, yesterday.
That the official announcement.
I expect
Right.
him to decline
So
it.
like Randy
It's of
said,
no
Yes.
value.
when we were in school, I mean, I played hockey for the Greater Accra.
Okay.
I'm going for regionals. And then they look at somebody who, because you are students, maybe some big boy or stronger boy or taller than the rest of you, they make him general captain. So when it's time to wake up at 6, oh yes, we had that in the Greater Accra regional hockey team.
Yeah, but for modern football.
Yeah, but there was a captain on the field who was on the general. But for modern football, when you are dealing with big boys,
There's
and they are
only
not
one
sleep-
captain.
They are
That's
not
all.
sleeping
There's
in
only
the
one
dormitory
captain.
and
So
things
the
like that.
structure
The
created
general
very
captainship
problematic.
really.
There's only one. There's only there's always this group of senior players. You always have them.
Yeah, you would.
So when it comes to negotiations and others, see, one of the unique things that Stephen Appiah did as captain
Fantastic
was that
captain, yeah.
Stephen will never ever, you won't get him to come and meet you one-on-one to negotiate. He always created this team of senior players.
Board of directors.
Yes. And so you want to meet him, he
Interesting.
brings his team.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You want to
No,
meet him,
Stephen is a different.
you want to
an
meet him, he brings his
outstanding
team.
captain of that.
And you'll be surprised. They would have met already,
Humility.
discussed everything. At the said meeting, Stephen might not speak. You allow the others. And you normally have to contend with Olele, Essien, Sule, Asamoah himself. They brought him in as part of the group, you know, and then John Mensah, you know, and Kweku.
Okay.
Negotiating with these guys.
Stephen Appiah himself, I think, is a leadership model.
All right.
He's a leadership
All right,
model.
but you are hopeful. You are hopeful.
I'm hopeful, but Prophet Robert has.
And let me say the reaction quickly, just in 30 seconds. That you can say the same for. What I'm saying is that the day you today, you see Fenerbahce. I'm told he's not exactly a regular. He came in, saw a few goals, etc. He sees sometimes on the bench, etc. He's not where he used to be 3 years ago. That's what you can say that for both of them. When you are talking about someone, it's not what he used to be. That the day is also not where he used to be. So if that is what you're saying, what I'm saying is that does not distinguish them.
I know. I was
But
only
Thomas
playing
Partey
as
and those
Vini
people,
Chivos.
they are the top of their trade.
All right.
You know, the people,
You know,
the people who thought that what Kwesi Appiah should have done was in going for a new captain, go beyond both of them.
And go for
Maybe.
second.
And made like Partey the
Partey,
captain. And
maybe.
thank,
Or
and thank both the
Christian
captain
Atsu
and his
or one of
deputy
them.
and say that, look, I'm looking at a new era.
Yeah.
And so both of
Interesting
you,
point.
thank you very much.
And
Very
he's a
interesting.
leading player today. I mean, in terms of one who's
That's an
really
interesting
on
one.
top form and fit.
All
Thomas
right.
Partey.
Okay. Let's hope and pray with them to see how it goes, because definitely we are looking for an opportunity to break the jinx, so to speak. 37 good years. That's a long time. And sometimes we like to claim that we are also a football nation. Is it?
Yeah.
Oh. But
Yeah.
within the region, we should be doing something better than we
But
have done.
have you heard that this whole issue is also being linked to
Some
the
spirituality.
Men of God Stroke Church Owners
Yes.
Association? Have you
Okay.
seen?
I understand
Okay,
one
so
of them actually said, with this one,
I pray it's not true. Because that would tell us how low
Apparently,
we
as
go.
a Mojan's camp is the one that made the revelation that Kwesi Appiah appears to have
You see,
told him
without
that
evidence.
some church owner, rather man of God, right?
Yeah, but-
told him that if it is the day who is wearing the captain band, then we'll
Yeah,
win.
it's unfair to
Okay.
accept it because
All right.
we have no evidence.
Okay.
It's an attack virtually on the professional integrity.
I'm
of the
told that, I'm
Okay.
told that
Okay.
that person is being interviewed by radio stations.
Oh,
Yes, and
Okay.
he's been speaking to the issue. The only thing is that he denies that he said those things to
The coach.
Yes.
okay.
Interesting.
I
He's
hear,
been interviewed.
I hear the person spoke
Ah.
today. Okay, it's a pastor from Kumasi. Okay, you
another
see the
pastor.
confusion some people can
not
create.
the spiritual advisor.
Okay,
Look,
all right, all right.
I wish something had 2 minutes for me.
Okay, sorry.
I would have told you a story
Come back.
which may interest Ghanaians about this thing, but you never know.
All right, sorry, we take a break here. When we return, we still have two big, serious, important national matters to look at. And we are talking about the election hacking, or was it? And the fact that STL, a foreign entity, has full control of Ghana's election IT system. The EC chair herself is not excited about this. But didn't the European Union tell us about this long ago? The NPP was in opposition. They tried to talk about it. We shouted them down. And now we want to talk. Let's see how it goes. We'll be right back.